It was a period where we observed an emerging technology and invested to explore how it might be beneficial to the Navy.
Imagine a future where the oceans are highways for the world's most advanced naval power. The Manta Ray, the revolutionary U.S. submarine that's set to change everything. With its inspired design and game-changing technology, this underwater behemoth is poised to redefine the rules of modern warfare. From its unparalleled speed to agility, the Manta Ray is the ultimate symbol of American military might. How did this come about, and what is the mission of the Sea Beast? Join us as we reveal how this U.S. submarine will change everything. The Manta Ray, the United States submarine force, an acknowledged symbol of military excellence, is now poised to enter its second century of undersea dominance with the new nature-inspired designs and technologies. This is the Manta Ray, a revolutionary submarine from Northrop Grumman that has achieved the impossible. As global threats intensify daily, the U.S. Navy has urgently needed an autonomous underwater vehicle capable of executing the most dangerous missions without detection. For years, this elusive, groundbreaking machine was a mere dream. Until now. The Manta Ray, with its unprecedented capabilities, is set to redefine naval warfare. Recent media reports have unveiled that the U.S. Navy just completed testing on a super-secret autonomous submarine nicknamed the Manta Ray. This vessel, designed and built by Northrop Grumman, is a state-of-the-art platform created to solve an age-old problem. After years of research and development, the Manta Ray completed its first operational test off the coast of California this spring. But what is it? Due to the highly classified nature of the program, few details are known publicly about what exactly the Manta Ray is and what it's capable of doing. What is known publicly is that the Manta concept is meant for a fully autonomous underwater vessel that doesn't need any human intervention, either on board or controlling it. Instead, once launched, the Manta conducts its mission and reports back. In order to be as efficient as possible, the Manta Ray is designed to be modular, with its components fitting inside 5 shipping containers. Reports suggest that this is to save energy for longer transits, where the Manta Ray can be moved by truck instead of under its own power. Once on site, the Manta Ray can then be assembled with standard tools and a crane. The Navy has yet to say what type of ship can launch the Manta Ray, and it is not known how it would be deployed. However, perhaps the large mission bay of a literal combat ship or an amphibious ship's well deck could launch the craft. Once in the water, the Manta Ray's capabilities will undoubtedly change the face of naval warfare forever. But where did the inspiration for this sea-shaking technology come from? The origin of the Manta Ray. The effectiveness of sea drones in actual conflict has been impressively displayed in the war in Ukraine. And so millions of dollars in investments are going towards this cause in the United States. The development of the Manta Ray began in 2020 when DARPA kicked off the program with the thought of creating a large underwater drone that can operate independently of manned vessels and ports. Once underway, DARPA awarded contracts to Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Picard Technologies to work on the program. The first phase of the program saw all 3 companies design and conduct preliminary testing on novel approaches to core components of the Manta Ray, including energy management, UUV reliability, biofouling and corrosion control, navigation, and undersea obstacle avoidance, among other areas that directly enable long-endurance missions. However, in an interesting turn of events, Lockheed Martin was out of the running by the end of this phase in 2021. Only Northrop Grumman and Picard Technologies made it to the second phase. In the second phase, the 2 selected companies must each develop full-scale prototype Manta vehicles. Their vehicles must include threat detection, classification, and communications capabilities, high-efficiency propulsion systems, and the ability to withstand the rigors of the undersea, all while remaining completely autonomous or requiring little human interaction to achieve its mission goals. Northrop Grumman has made tremendous progress in this cause. The company has not only built a full-scale Manta Ray prototype, but has also completed full-scale in-water testing. The testing took place off the coast of Southern California in February and March 2024. Testing demonstrated ATC hydrodynamic performance, including submerged operations, using all the vehicle's propulsion and steering systems, buoyancy propellers, and control surfaces. Northrop Grumman also proved the vehicle's impressive modularity, shipping the prototype in subsections from the build location in Maryland to its test location in California. This alone demonstrated Northrop Grumman's plans for a Manta Ray that's easy to ship, assemble, and deploy wherever the vehicle may be needed, anywhere on the planet, without taking up valuable real estate inside ships, submarines, or other naval facilities that could deploy it. Once deployed, the vehicle uses efficient buoyancy-driven gliding to move through the water, as it did in the recent test, a highly successful test too, that enabled Northrop Grumman to assess the most crucial subsystems to make the Manta Ray function as designed. The sea drone will dive deeper than any submarine on the planet, down to the ocean floor, where it harvests energy directly from the sea, ensuring that it never runs out of power. In a 2022 DARPA video, the vehicle achieved this by extending what appears to be a retractable wave energy harvesting device that converts the movement of water into electricity. So unless the impossible happens and all the water in the world disappears, the Manta Ray could, in theory, operate forever as it recharges. The vehicle hibernates with nearly no detectable electromagnetic emissions that could reveal its presence to enemy vehicles. This radio silence, combined with impressive diving depths and overall low observability design, gives the Manta Ray an unrivaled level of stealth, even when compared to some of the stealthiest submarines in the world. Combined with a versatile weapons bay and ultra-quiet, ultra-sensitive hydrophones, this sea drone can be employed for command and control, communications tasks, strike missions, and even surveillance. With more upgrades, it could grow larger into anything it needs to be, like an actual Manta Ray. The utilization of unmanned underwater vehicles has revolutionized various industries, including the military and film sectors. In a groundbreaking demonstration, a UUV was employed as a vehicle to identify and eliminate targets submerged in water. Ross Lindman, Director of Operations at the company's Technical Solutions Fleet Support Group, emphasized the significance of this achievement, stating, "We ran the full kill chain. We didn't simulate parts of the mission. We executed the entire operation to showcase a capability that can be deployed in the near future." General Dynamics, a leading defense contractor, showcased their cross-domain, multi-platform UUV through a simulated warfare planning tool. The demonstration featured a literal combat ship and 2 UUVs, highlighting the rapid communication between the operator and the UUV. James Langevin, ranking member on the House Armed Services Committee's Subcommittee on Emerging Threats, emphasized the importance of swift decision-making in warfare, stating, "The goal is to enable warfare commanders to make high-confidence decisions faster than their adversaries." These exercises demonstrated the versatility of UUVs in military applications, as well as innovations tailored to specific mission types. In the film industry, UUVs have been employed to capture stunning footage of underwater wreckage. For instance, a National Geographic documentary called The Dark Secrets of the Lusitania utilized a combination of submarines, remotely operated underwater vehicles, and newt suits to explore the British ocean liner's wreckage. Argo, a UUV developed by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, played a crucial role in finding the Titanic's wreckage and capturing footage for the 1986 National Geographic documentary, Secrets of the Titanic. Equipped with television cameras, Argo provided wide-angle views and close-ups of the ship's remains, offering a glimpse into history. These examples illustrate the vast potential of UUVs in exploring and documenting the underwater world. UUVs are oxygen-dependent vehicles which require resurfacing. With the development of a propulsion unit that does not require oxygen or hydrogen, the ability for the UUV to stay continuously underwater increases drastically. The United States history with sea drones. Starting in 1957, the first unmanned underwater vehicle was classified as an autonomous underwater vehicle and was created in the United States to research the Arctic waters. The Special Purpose Underwater Research Vehicle was used by the University of Washington to collect oceanographic data until 1979, during which the development of SPIRV-2 began to provide better movement performance and better sensing capabilities. Scientists from the Autonomous and Control Processes Institute took interest in the developments of the AUV SCAT, which led to the introduction of the UUVs L-1 and L-2 in 1974. L-1 and L-2 are AUV models used for the further development of technology and oceanographic mapping, respectively. Further development of the remotely operated vehicle brought forth the creation of the autonomous and remote control submarine in 1983 by the ISE Limited Company in partnership with the International Submarine Engineering. ARCS was also classified as a remotely controlled underwater vehicle because of its 32-bit Motorola processor, which allowed for the remote control it featured. This UUV further served as a testing platform, improving on the battery life, navigational and communicational systems, having its first dive in 1987. This led to development of variations of the UUVs. The remotely operated underwater vehicles are a subclass of unmanned underwater vehicles designed to replace human presence in challenging underwater environments. ROUVs are primarily used for educational or industrial missions, requiring manual control by an operator to perform tasks such as surveillance, patrolling, and object manipulation using a gripper or grasping device. The structural design of ROUVs necessitates constant human oversight, as their weight distribution can be affected by the attachment of additional equipment. In some cases, ROUVs require supplementary assistance due to the critical nature of their missions. For instance, the U.S. Navy's Submarine Rescue Diving Recompression System can rescue up to 16 people at depths of 2,000 feet, necessitating operator presence during its operation. Autonomous underwater vehicles, or AUVs, on the other hand, are capable of operating independently without human intervention. AUVs vary in size, ranging from a few kilograms to thousands of kilograms. The first AUV was developed in 1957 by the Applied Physics Laboratory at the University of Washington for Arctic research. By the early 2000s, 10 different AUV models had been developed, including screw-driven AUVs, underwater gliders, and bionic AUVs. Early models employed screw propeller thrusters, while later models utilized automatic buoyancy control. The inaugural model, Spur-V, weighed close to 500 kilograms, can dive to as deep as 3,650 meters, and had an endurance of close to 6 hours. In contrast, the more recent deep glider model that weighs 62 kilograms can dive to 6,000 meters and travel up to 8,500 kilometers. These advancements in AUV technology have significantly expanded our capacity for underwater exploration and research. However, it would be incomplete to discuss the growth of DARPA's Manta Ray into a go-to weapon without discussing the impact of sea drones in the Ukraine war. Ukraine behind the sea drones. Inspiration, uncrewed remote-controlled boats have been around since the end of World War II. Late last century, technological innovations broadened their potential uses. Lethal advanced sea drones developed and deployed by Ukraine in its war with Russia have opened a new chapter in that story. Ukraine claims it is the first country to set up a specific unit dedicated to producing them. Yemen-based Houthis have also deployed armed unmanned surface vessels as suicide drone boats that explode upon impact. The 2-year-old Ukraine conflict has become a laboratory for new military technology, and naval drones are set to become an essential part of the combat toolbox in 21st century warfare. If you have no idea what sea drones are generally small, unmanned vessels that operate on or below the water surface. They come in all shapes and sizes and can be used for a variety of tasks, from environmental monitoring to clearing mines, surveillance to detonating near targets in kamikaze attacks, or firing at targets like a mobile launcher. These unmanned vessels, that are also called drone boats or maritime drones, have had a broad range of applications for years. They have also been employed for scientific research, search and rescue operations, and coastal patrols. But Ukraine has taken them to a whole new level, as it has loaded them with explosives. These sleek vessels speed across the water surface, trailing a wake of white foam, and have a low radar signature that makes them hard to detect, waiting to tear an unsuspecting enemy into shreds. They are also equipped with advanced GPS and cameras. This versatility has seen them grow in use in the war in Ukraine, particularly on the Ukrainian side, which has no powerful navy but now combats one of the most powerful navies in the world. This improved and improvised sea beat is none other than the Magura V5, the sea drone that Ukraine says it used in the Black Sea and appears to be Kiev's latest version. It's so sleek and effective that the craft wouldn't look out of place in a James Bond movie. The Magura also has an impressive size. It is 18 feet long, weighs up to 1,000 kilograms, has a range of up to 800 kilometers, 60 hours of battery life, and a 200-kilogram payload. It also beams live video to operators. Another drone that is larger than the Magura, called Sea Baby, was recently revealed by Ukraine. The latest Sea Baby model is capable of carrying 850 kilograms of explosives, hits a top speed of 90 kilometers per hour, and can cover an impressive distance of 1,000 kilometers, based on what the testing has shown. Ukraine is not sitting around and just building, though. They have reportedly executed at least 13 attacks with sea drones, many of them successful. The attacks have come with low cost, ease of use, and yet lethal strikes that have eliminated million-dollar military assets on the Russian side. The unmanned boats are being used to target Russian shipping and infrastructure in the Black Sea, which has Russian and Ukrainian coastlines. Ukraine says the drones have sunk and damaged Russian ships there. That has helped Kiev resume some grain exports. Kiev officials say some 20% of Russian missile attacks on Ukraine are launched from the Black Sea. Ukrainian naval drones first struck a Russian ship in October 2022, the military claim, when they hit vessels moored off the coast of occupied Crimea, and Ukraine has not looked back since then. Last July, Russia said 2 Ukrainian maritime drones hit the Kerch Bridge, a key supply route linking Russia to Crimea, forcing its temporary closure. Unconfirmed reports said a Sea Baby drone was used in that strike. The following month, Ukrainian sea drones struck a Russian port and damaged a warship. Being outgunned and outnumbered in the war against its bigger neighbor, Ukraine's daring sea drone attacks have lifted morale. China might soon suffer the same fate as the US builds its own new revolutionary sea drone, the weapon of the hour, the Manta Ray. Ukrainian know-how and ingenuity are behind the development of the new generation of sea drones. The fact that these Ukraine sea drones are locally designed and tested with only a few components sourced abroad, so with the resources the United States have in their arsenal, there's no telling how much upgrades this Ray-inspired sea drone would be. The Manta Ray, a new class of sea drones built to respond to the increasingly daring threats of the Chinese Navy. Should the day come when China makes true to its promise to set sail to Taiwan and take over the island, the Manta Ray might just be lurking deep in the waters, ready to change their mind. To support this war-preventing sea drone, the US has been investing heavily in its development, and it may soon become a game-changer in the naval warfare arena. The Manta Ray's mission. The Manta Ray's mission has not been disclosed. However, it can be inferred based on what has been said publicly. According to media reports, the Manta Ray can conduct a variety of reconnaissance and surveillance missions. These missions could be as simple as taking photos and videos of enemy coastlines, tapping into underwater cables, or as advanced as sneaking into enemy ports to collect intelligence on combatant navies. Whatever the case may be, the Manta Ray has been categorically described as a surveillance vessel. So far, there have not been any mentions of arming the vessel. In addition to just theories on its use, there is little else that can be inferred from publicly released photographs. One such example is the size of the Manta Ray. In photos released by the United States Navy, a 7-meter rigid-hulled inflatable boat follows close behind the craft. By using a very rough estimate, it's clear that the wingspan of the Manta Ray is around 20 meters, with the length being about 14 meters. Released images also purposefully obscure the back of the aircraft, which is common in public release images when sensitive equipment is being used or carried on that part of an asset. Because of this, the Manta Ray can likely tow some type of array, likely a sonar array, or potentially a communication suite behind it. Having such a capability would be a first for a UUV. The US Navy has desired for decades to have a fully autonomous submarine. This is because, though US submariners are highly trained and their equipment is the best in the world, in combat there will be losses no matter how good a Navy trains. Because of this, in a real-world fight where the US would be going up against a peer like Russia or China, Losing a single submarine is much more than just the loss of a several billion-dollar asset. The years of intense training and schooling every enlisted and officer submariner goes through are invaluable, and losing a large number of submarines during a war could cripple the submarine service, since new crews cannot be made overnight. Due to these concerns, the Navy has desired to create fully autonomous submarines to augment the fleet and carry out some of the most dangerous missions. For example, laying mines in enemy waters, sneaking into occupied ports, and tapping into underwater cables are among the most risky operations a submarine can do. To mitigate this risk to multi-billion-dollar submarines and their irreplaceable crews, the Navy has wanted to make something to take on this risk. But what was the solution to this problem? The Echo Voyager. This is where Echo Voyager steps in, the brainchild of Boeing. This underwater vehicle is the grandfather of the Manta Ray. Perhaps the most important reason to take a look at the Echo Voyager is to see what these vessels are capable of and how they work. Because this technology is about 2 decades old, there's a lot more information about it that has been released to the public. Coming in at around 72 feet long, 8.5 feet wide, and 8.5 feet tall, the Echo Voyager is about 3 times as large as the Manta Ray, with a weight of around 50 tons. It is heavier too. But how does it work? According to press releases from Boeing, the Echo Voyager has a range of 6,500 nautical miles on one fuel module. Undoubtedly, the Echo Voyager, and by extension the Manta Ray, or any other UUV for that matter, are powered by a revolutionary submarine propulsion system known as Air-Independent Propulsion, also known as AIP. Let me explain what it is. Traditional submarines are powered by electric batteries that get their power from the energy produced by diesel generators. However, one cannot run a diesel generator in an enclosed space since the toxic exhaust will kill everyone on board if left on long enough. Because of this, diesel submarines have to surface often to snorkel depth in order to charge their electric batteries by running their diesel engines. Of course, this platform, since coming to the surface, exposes submarines to enemy fire from ships, aircraft, and shore batteries. AIP solves this problem, though. There are various methods of doing this, including bioethanol fuels and liquid oxygen. These fuel cells allow the submarine to charge its batteries underwater. To save on these precious fuel cells, a submarine can charge its batteries normally with a diesel engine when there's no danger and stay submerged with fuel cells while on a mission. However, AIP has traditionally been very heavy, which is why the Echo Voyager weighs 50 tons. If naval scientists and defense contractors were able to miniaturize AIP onto the Manta Ray, this would be a truly groundbreaking development in the history of naval warfare. But now that we've talked about how the Echo Voyager, and by extension the Manta Ray, propels itself, how does it work in the water? Once submerged in the water, the craft can go up to 8 knots but must maintain at least 3. It can also travel up to 150 nautical miles in between charges for its diesel engine. The craft can also dive to a breathtaking depth of 11,000 feet, compared to the 3,000 feet depth the U.S. Los Angeles-class submarine can dive. But how does the Echo Voyager figure out where it is in the world at such a deep depth? Traditional GPS systems do not work to tell the Echo Voyager where it is at that depth. Instead, the Echo Voyager relies on an inertial navigation system that essentially dead reckons the craft using its current course and speed based on the last time it got a GPS fix near the water. In addition to the inertial navigation system, the Echo Voyager also has Doppler velocity logs, whose sole purpose is to send out signals into the surrounding water and wait for a return to measure the craft's speed. When the Echo Voyager is near the ocean floor, it can use a similar version of terrain contour, matching utilized by Tomahawk missiles to guide it. Lastly, the Echo Voyager is equipped with forward-looking sonar to help it avoid running into seamounts or underwater mountains. But how does the Echo Voyager stay stable? Thanks to its automatic buoyancy controllability, the Echo Voyager can keep itself at its desired depth by filling or emptying its own ballast tanks, and to keep it upright and not tipped over due to ocean currents, the craft can adjust its own trim forward and aft to keep the vessel on a steady course. All told, these features can keep the Echo Voyager within 1 foot of its desired depth and 7.7 feet within its desired location anywhere in the ocean up to 11,000 feet deep. Though the exact mission of the Echo Voyager remains classified, there are many options on board with a 14-foot-long internal payload bay that can carry up to 8 tons of equipment. The Echo Voyager can carry out deep-sea intelligence-gathering missions, and with its capability to move on the seabed, tap into underwater cables. However, it is known that the Echo Voyager has not been armed. That is, until the Orca came onto the scene. Orca, the magnificent apex predator. Designed by Boeing and named after one of nature's apex predators, the Orca is another UUV that the Navy is testing to bring about a new era in undersea warfare. The next generation of the Echo Voyager, the Orca, is about 13 feet longer at 85 feet and has dimensions and weight similar to the Echo Voyager, since it was a direct descendant of it. While the Orca certainly has a lot of the same technology as the Echo Voyager and Manta Ray, what makes the Orca different is that it is armed. Though the Navy has remained tight-lipped about its exact capabilities, the Orca has been confirmed to be the Navy's armed underwater drone. Public hearings before Congress have suggested that the Navy wants the Orca to assume all the combat duties of a traditional submarine, including firing torpedoes and laying mines. Additionally, the Orca has some previously unknown but developing technologies to find and defuse underwater mines, to clear sea lanes for ships and submarines. Besides this public discourse, little else is known about the Orca, other than that the Navy wants it to eventually assume dangerous combat duties. Here's a few more details about the nature-inspired sea beast. The diesel-electric-powered Orca boasts a remarkable total endurance of approximately 6,500 nautical miles, allowing it to operate for months at a time without requiring a host ship or any sort of sustaining operation at sea. According to Stevens, this extended endurance capability is a significant advantage. Designing, building, and delivering advanced UUVs like the Orca is a complex task. However, ensuring that the platform remains resilient against technology obsolescence is an equally important consideration. In this regard, Stevens emphasizes that the Orca's platform is particularly open and adaptable. The vehicle can be delivered with or without a payload, and its design allows for easy integration of various payloads and software. The interface control document provides a standardized framework for payload development, enabling third-party developers to create compatible hardware and software. The Orca's design allows for neutral buoyancy and flexibility in terms of power requirements, giving developers a wide range of possibilities for payload design and integration. This open architecture approach ensures that the Orca remains a versatile and future-proof platform, capable of accommodating a wide range of payloads and missions. But what does this all mean for the future? Though the concept itself has come a long way, the Navy is still years away from unleashing these hordes of hellacious sea creatures on unsuspecting enemies. The most recent announcement noted that the Manta Ray only completed its initial underwater testing to prove it can actually drive itself and not just sink when put into the water. Additionally, Boeing just delivered the first operational prototype of the Orca to the Navy in December 2023. However, although a fully automated robot submarine will not be sinking enemy fleets anytime soon, the capability is certainly there, and it will be a game-changer for the U.S. once these prototypes become operational. The Orca's armed capabilities and advanced technologies will provide the Navy with unprecedented advantages in undersea warfare, enabling them to conduct a range of missions with increased precision and effectiveness. As the Navy continues to develop and test these UUVs, the future of undersea warfare is looking increasingly autonomous, and the Orca is leading the charge. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.